All right, so you're thinking about making a move to Phoenix, Arizona. There's obviously a lot to like. A lot of people are moving here for a reason, but there are a long list of reasons why you might want to avoid it, why it might not be right for you. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to give our top 10 reasons why you might want to avoid living or moving to Phoenix, Arizona. If that's something you're looking to learn, then stay tuned. Everybody, it's Greg Corbett with the AZ Lifestyle Group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. If this is your first time to this channel and you're looking to find out everything you need to know about what it's like living in and or moving to the Phoenix metro area, including all the reasons why you might not want to, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. We are helping people from all over when it comes to finding the best places and neighborhoods to live here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about making a move and you need any assistance whatsoever, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when it comes to moving and or not moving to Phoenix, Arizona. All right, guys, so wanted to update this list. I haven't done this video in a couple years, and, you know, things are changing. So this is something that, you know, if I wanted to just kind of jot down a list of top 10 things that I think are maybe challenging in Arizona. I just wrote down probably a list of 10 things, no particular order here, but we're going to go through it. Let's get into it right now. I think the number one thing that always comes up on my mind, this was in my pros and cons of why people are looking to maybe avoid Arizona. Number one in my mind is the summer heat. And, you know, you get 4 months. Let's call it June, July, August, and September, where you know that you're going to be triple digits and up, and the mornings and evenings are going to be a little bit warm as well. We're typically going to be somewhere in the 105 to 110 range highs during the day, and then we're also going to be probably in the 80 to 85 range as the low in the evening. So you're never really cooling down as much during the summer here. You know, if you want to get out and about and you want to spend some time once the sun is down, so sunsets are, you know, beautiful. It's nice to get up early in the morning. If you like to get up really early in the morning and get stuff out of the way, then maybe the heat's not going to bother you. But once that hits, and I'm talking like 8 in the morning when that sun's out, you know, it gets pretty brutal. And so it kind of limits what you can do when you're wanting to go outside. It also causes a lot of damage to anything you leave outside. That's the sun is just brutal on a lot of things, and so you gotta take better care of things. You gotta take better care of yourself. You gotta wear sunscreen. You gotta make sure your kids are taken care of. You gotta make sure that you have things to do. So summer heat, obviously, number one thing that is a major con and one of the negative things that people have to consider for a lot of reasons. And so now you know. All right, reason number two that I've got on my list here, this is something that kind of affected me when I first moved down to Arizona back in 1993 from Colorado, and that was kind of the lack of seasons. I mean, for me, it was always strange going, you know, especially into October, November, December, when you're used to having kind of the change in seasons, the fall temperatures cool down, the change in colors when it comes to like the leaves and all that stuff, and then just kind of getting into the holidays. It just, you know, here it's just kind of the same all the time. It cools down maybe a little bit once you get into the end of October as far as your evenings and mornings, but otherwise it's still hot. It can still be hot getting into, you know, when you're going into November. I mean, you can still hit 90, sometimes 100 degrees when you're in November. So the lack of seasons was kind of an adjustment for me. You get used to it after a little bit. And again, like when it comes, same thing when it comes to people moving from freezing cold temps and coming from snow. Some people just are like, hey, look, I've dealt with that. That's no big deal. I don't mind coming to Arizona and just having like sunny and warm and hot all the time. So if that's you in your situation, totally get that. Talk to a lot of people that feel the same way. For me, it was a little bit of an adjustment, and for anybody who kind of likes having those seasons, might be an adjustment for you as well. All right, number three on my list. It's you know, I'm not sure how fair it is. I think it's definitely something that I think about a lot more now that I have two little girls. And that's the drivers here in Arizona. I don't know anybody who comes from any other state and is like, hey, our drivers are good. Like, I don't hear that ever. But Arizona in particular and the Phoenix area, I mean, people drive fast. I drive fast too. I get that. But like people, there's just a recklessness when it comes to a lot of the drivers. And there are a lot of accidents and there are a lot of fatalities, unfortunately, on the road here in Arizona. I don't know the stats. I don't know if it's a lot worse than other states or not. It seems like, when you turn on the news all the time, there's always some sort of bad accident going on and something where somebody was injured or killed, unfortunately. So that, to me, is a negative. We're obviously a very large area that's spread out, and so because of that, it's going to have more access to potentially people in that situation. So again, I don't know how fair it is as far as comparing if Arizona is a lot worse than anywhere else. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it's definitely something that I see. It's funny because traffic in general, when I think about it, isn't all that bad, especially during the summer months. There's like nobody on the road right now at all. But again, people take advantage of that and then maybe drive a little bit faster than they should. We might not have as many police out on the road as we should in a lot of areas. Good, bad, and different. I know nobody wants to get pulled over for a ticket, but you also want to be safe and you want other drivers to maintain a safe rate of speed as well for safety. So something you need to consider. Again, it's something that's always on my mind when I'm driving around here. So wanted to pass it on. Reason number 4 that you might not want to move here to Phoenix, Arizona, and that is, in my mind, a lot of people who are coming out here, you might not understand how small a lot of these lots are when you start looking for homes. So there's a lot of, and this is primarily, in the suburbs, like the surrounding areas of the Phoenix metro, whether you're looking in Gilbert, Chandler, Queen Creek, Mesa, Peoria, Glendale, Goodyear, Surprise. Like there's a lot of master plan communities that have these tiny postage stamp sized lots. One place that comes to mind is the East Mark community out in East Mesa, which is a absolute beautiful community. Very nice homes, very, very tiny lots. So most of the people I talk to when they're like, hey, I would love to live in a brand new community that has a lot of nice amenities and have a brand new home, like I show them that and they're like, well, that's cool, but it's got like a little tiny 5,000 square foot lot, 6,000 square foot lot, whatever it is. They're kind of small. So for most of the people I'm talking to, they want a little bit larger lot, and that's a little bit harder to find. And if you want it, you're going to probably pay a little bit of a premium for it, depending on where you go. So if you're not into these really small lots, if you're coming from areas where you're like, hey, we've got a quarter acre, half acre, maybe got a lot of land on your end, and you're like, I want to come out to Arizona and I want to be, in the desert, but not too far on the outskirts, and you want a larger lot, you're either going to pay a pretty significant premium for it, or you're going to have to go way far out into some of the major areas like Santan Valley or Maricopa or Buckeye, Casa Grande. There's all sorts of potential areas that maybe you can find a larger piece of land, but be way the heck out there. So just something something to know that the lot sizes here can be pretty small. All right, number 5 reason on my list, and I think this is somewhat of a new one a little bit as well, especially over the last 2 years with all the people who have put additional money into the real estate market. A lot of it is second homes, which are turning into short-term rentals, vacation rentals, that type of thing. Now, there are a lot of institutional investors that are buying up some of these properties, turn them into short-term rentals, and mostly those are long-term holds. But there's a lot of people that are just looking for investment in real estate. Like, I know plenty of people who are like, hey, look, I've done very well in short-term rentals and I want to buy more properties. Obviously, it's a big push for anybody who's, looking to invest in the real estate market. It's like, hey, let's figure out if we can do a short-term rental. They're paying off pretty well for a lot of people, especially over the last couple of years. And there's been a lot of people coming and using them. So it's made sense of it as an investment. But from the negative side, it has caused challenges, number one, for people who are looking to buy out here because of the competition, and now your prices are being pushed up because if you're paying the same price to live in a property as you are as a income earning property, then that is a tough pill to swallow sometimes. Number two, there's not a lot of inventory that has been available, so you're up against that type of thing. Number three, you might not want to live next to a short-term rental. So now you're going into communities where you're like, okay, well, look, now my neighbor is a short-term rental, and my wife and I are going through this right now as well. We just had a house that was torn down in the last couple of years. A brand new house was built in a very expensive home. And you think somebody's going to be moving into it. You're going to have a new neighbor. Turns out whoever bought it is probably turning it into a short-term rental. Or I think we probably have our first short-term renters in there this weekend based on what we can know. So who knows if that's going to be good, bad, or indifferent, but I think most people would rather not have constant turnover next to them, having parties potentially constantly, that type of situation, any kind of noise issues. So these short-term rentals, and this is something that if you're looking to make a purchase out here, it's good when you want to come out and rent for a few months before you make a decision. So good on that end, bad if you really don't want to live next to one and you've got limited options. So talk to us. We'll make sure that if you are making a decision to purchase, we'll try to keep you away from or we'll try to do the due diligence on short-term rentals if you want to stay away from living next to them. Easier said than done, but definitely wanted to bring it up. Real quick, you guys, if this info is helpful to you at all, please consider hitting that like button for us. Drop a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with what we're talking about so far. Let us know your opinion on it. I know we get a lot of opinions, especially when it comes to this negative stuff, as far as like some people are going to defend Arizona with what I'm saying. Some people are going to pile on and be like, it's not even as bad as what you're saying. So, I'd like to hear both sides. I want to hear what you guys think. For people coming in from out of town, I want to know your thoughts as well. Maybe you're coming from an area that maybe has some more challenges than we do, or maybe didn't know about this stuff. But definitely, if it's helpful to you, please consider hitting that like button. It allows us to share this with more people. It also lets us know if we're putting out the right content. We appreciate it. On to reason number 6, which kind of piggybacks on the vacation rental situation since we were just talking about it. It's the cost of living. Cost of living is significantly higher out here in Arizona now after the last couple of years. The cost to purchase a home is now significantly higher. The cost to rent a home is significantly higher. And just, and I know inflation across the board throughout the entire U.S. is insane and probably throughout a lot of places in the world. But we're dealing with those cost increases. So depending on what your situation is and or was, and if you were looking to make a move out here, it's probably a little bit different now. Now, hopefully, with what we're seeing currently in the market, we're seeing a shift. We're finally starting to see a little bit of a turnaround where it's not going to be this insane seller's market. Hopefully it can turn into a balanced market where whether you're a buyer or a renter, you've got a little bit more flexibility and you got a little bit more time to make a decision, and you've got a little bit more leverage when it comes to trying to figure out whether it's something that makes sense financially for you. So hopefully we're moving into a better situation for a lot of people if you're making the move out here, but at the same time, it's going to look different than it did, especially over the last year, especially the last 2 years. So make sure you know what you're prepared for. All right, reason number 7 on my list. This one is, might not be a major issue, but I think it's something for people to consider. And that's, I think, kind of like going back to lot sizes, all these master plan communities, this kind of goes hand in hand with that situation is that you're dealing with a lot of homeowners associations in Arizona with these master plan communities. Some of them might have amenities that are helpful to you. Some of them might have like little cool features. Maybe you've got a gated community. Maybe you've got, parks. Maybe you've got some sort of pool. But a lot of them are just like common area maintenance. They basically take care of, the curb appeal, the entry into the community, the little parks, little retention basins where you might have some grass, that type of thing. Some of them don't really have a lot that they take care of. But you pay an extra cost per month. So HOAs are going to be something you've got to consider. It's going to be an additional cost to already what you're paying per month when you're making a decision to live out here. Definitely let us know if it's something you want to avoid. Now, you can get into places like Central Phoenix and certain parts of Scottsdale where you can avoid homeowners associations altogether, but you're probably going to pay a little bit more cost to get in because you're in an older neighborhood that's more central to everything. So from a location point of view, you're going to have probably the best of the best situation. You can avoid HOAs, but you're paying a little bit more. So we can discuss that with you, but I would say the majority of these big communities here within Metro Phoenix are probably a part of an HOA, so it's something that you need to know. Reason number 8, and this one's a tricky one for me because I don't have personal experience with it, honestly. All I can go off of is what we're constantly seeing online, and that is that Arizona is constantly ranked near the bottom of the country when it comes to our schools. Now, there are a lot of areas that people come and kind of focus on, whether that's Chandler and Gilbert and Scottsdale. There's certain areas, throughout all over the Metro Phoenix that have higher rated schools. If you start doing some online research and checking things out, all of my friends who've had kids go through school here. My wife grew up in Arizona, went to school here. In my mind, I don't think it's as bad as maybe it maybe gets credit for or doesn't get credit for. It's hard to say, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, hey, if they're coming in from a state that is at the top of the list when it comes to how the schools are rated and what you're looking for, and maybe the programs here, maybe again, like dealing with certain things when it comes to being able to get outside versus what we're dealing with during the summer months here, that type of thing. Actually, it's one of the things that I forget sometimes is that our teachers are not paid as well here. That's been a big issue. And so if you're not getting the quality teachers, and again, this is not to take anything away from the teachers that we do have, because again, I know a lot of them and they do a great job, but I don't think they get paid that well here, and so maybe your number of quality teachers is limited. It's hard to say. I would love to be able to talk to a few more teachers or maybe have them come on here, so maybe we'll do that at some point and really discuss what the situation is. I don't know why Arizona is always ranked near the bottom, but it is, so that's something I think you should consider. Make sure to do your research on your own, since I'm still learning on my side as well, and having 2 little girls that are going to be in the school system soon potentially, it's something I'm going to be doing some more research on as well. Reason number 9 I have, and again, tricky one because I don't know, again, compared to where you're coming from and what your situation is, our situation might not be that bad here, but we definitely are starting to see a bigger homelessness problem in the Metro Phoenix area, especially within Central Phoenix per se. You might not see it as much on some of the suburb communities if you're talking about some of the surrounding areas around Phoenix. Also panhandling. So Phoenix, you definitely see a lot of people out on the corner constantly with the signs asking for money. I know Scottsdale has, done a pretty good job of like keeping signs up saying, hey, you don't need to give money to panhandlers, that type of thing. They try to police that situation pretty well. I'm not here to judge anybody who's in that situation. I obviously feel for anybody who's going through like anything like that. And with the last couple of years and with the cost of living going up and people getting pushed out on the streets for whatever reason, especially if they've been in a rental, it's hard to hear some of the stories that we've been hearing and seeing and pushing people out into situations that aren't fun. At the same time, I would rather have the resources go to helping them in other ways rather than people out on the street. I'm not a fan of people out asking for money on the corners. It's not something that I like to participate in. I'd rather give my funds in other ways to help people. So it's just something that, again, if you don't like seeing that type of thing, Central Phoenix has it. Maybe you're not going to see it as much in some of the other parts of Metro Phoenix, but it's something that you should know about before you get here. Are we in a situation as bad as what we're hearing in like California and Oregon, Washington, that type of thing? Probably not. I'm sure we're not as bad as what they're dealing with there. That sounds astronomically worse, but it is here. It's something to consider, and we're going to be potentially going through it for a little while based on our cost of living situation. Reason number 10, our last reason we're going to go through as far as potentially a reason for you not to move to Arizona. Again, we're not here to sugarcoat things, and this is something that's coming up a lot. I talked about this in my pros and cons video recently as well, and that is our water situation. Are we running out of water here in Arizona? Now, you're going to get a lot of opinions on that. I don't know if anybody that I've tried to go out and do my research. I don't know exactly how dire our situation is currently based on just what I'm seeing from our local government around here. It doesn't seem extremely dire because there's no situation of people like telling us that, hey, we're going to start doing restrictions on water. There's no restrictions at all as of now. I think maybe Glendale started implementing some stuff recently, so I'll have to do some research on that. I saw a piece recently that, because it's not just Arizona, it's the entire Southwest that is dealing with this major drought, dealing with the Colorado River that feeds into the entire Southwest area, and that just being almost drying out completely. All the lakes that are close by being completely, at the lowest levels ever. And so we've got lots of groundwater that we currently use that is available for the state. That's what the state has. I don't know how long that lasts. We were told originally that anytime you build a new development that you have to show that you got to have 100 years worth of water. So it gets a little confusing for me on whether or not our situation is, hey, we're going to be out of water in 5 years, 10 years, or this is like a 50-year thing that people are freaking out about. I don't really know. I think that if it was closer to like the 5 to 10 year period of time, that we would probably already have the state starting to regulate and start giving restrictions. Maybe that's being optimistic on my end. I don't really know. Something for you to do some research on. I know there are a lot of people that are spending a lot of money here in Arizona, and that's big companies coming in, spending billions of dollars to bring their companies here. In my mind, maybe big companies like that are spending this type of money here in Arizona before coming out here, they would probably want to know if we were in some sort of dire situation. I know that this drought is hurting a lot of people. It's going to be hurting agriculture. Who knows what's going to happen in the future. Hopefully we can get out of this drought somehow. Maybe it's our future. Maybe, hard to say, but that is something for people to consider because everybody is looking at the comments. People are asking about it. Something you need to consider as well. I'm not going to have the full answer for you. I'm going to continue to try to do my research and try to talk to people that have a little bit more knowledge than me. But again, do your research as well. All right, guys, hopefully that list was helpful for you. Again, I'm not looking to sugarcoat anything. I think there are a ton of great reasons why people are coming to Arizona and why you might want to live here. But there are a lot of these reasons that you need to know about, and you need to figure out whether that makes sense before you're making the decision out here. Or making the decision to come out here. And we want to tell you that. We want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. It's not looking to scare anybody, but these are the things that we talk about while we're here, and these are things that you might want to consider. So if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to us. Like we said, leave us a comment down below if you have anything that you'd like to add on. If you agree, if you disagree, we'd love to hear from you. Maybe I'm being hard, maybe I'm being too easy. I don't know. I'm sure everybody's got a little bit different opinion on it, but we'd love to hear from you. Make sure to reach out to us. We're going to put our contact info on screen as always. We're here to help people find the right neighborhoods when you're looking to make a move here, and we absolutely love it. So give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back, and until the next video, we'll catch you later.